Kamehameha! Hello everyone and welcome to the Animezilia. And yes, you are listening or watching a review of Volume 7 of RWBY, Episode 10. Don't worry, I did the Kamehameha reference because that's clearly what they were going for with this scene. Wow, my head's in a very awkward position. Sorry, Penny, just don't fart. Really, please don't fart. And we start the episode off with basically the city of Mantle being in a mass panic. We knew this because at the end of last week's episode, they were being invaded by Grimm. And honestly, this whole first part of the episode was actually rather enjoyable, and I liked the way they handled it. So, we see some new Grimm. We've got basically prehistoric Ice Age type Grimm. We got woolly mammoths, we got saber-tooths, we've got weird giant bat things, flying things, dragons, and we've got some polar bears from the looks of it. Now, the Grimm designs are pretty cool in my opinion. I love anything to do with the Ice Age. Mammoths, I like mammoths. One thing I will say is though, I can't believe in any realm or possibility that Blake struggled to run away from one of these mammoths. Like, yes, they are fast and they can move very fast, but at the same time, come on Blake, you're a cat. Move your legs. And the whole premise of this, we have the Grimm because the people of Mantle are scared. They're frightened. So what's the logical solution? Calm them down. How'd they do that? Well, Robin and Ironwood get married. No, I'm joking. They don't get married. They actually just hold hands so that her semblance can activate, and Ironwood can tell everybody about Salem. That's it. He's come out with it. He says, look, we got this big threat called Salem. She sent 2 of her henchmen, Watts and Tyrion. They're in Mantle. They've been causing problems. And she wants us to all to panic, to fear, and to turn against ourselves. Because that will create more Grimm. That will lead to our downfall. It happened at Beacon, and it's trying to happen now in Mantle and Atlas. So, why did I like this scene? Well, I liked it because not only does it show Ironwood actually trusting people and basically, opening up. He's no longer keeping his own secrets, which is great because it really improves and emphasizes what happened in last week's episode. I liked it because I realized that the voice actress for Robin was actually the same voice actress who does Velvet from Tales of Bysteria. Good game, by the way. I also like the scene because in one way it doesn't make sense in how the people just accepted it and calmed down. But at the other end of the spectrum, it does make sense. Because if you think about it, Ironwood stated that he would bring his Elysian military forces to help bring the people to safety. That would calm people down to no end. Now, telling people that there's an evil being called Salem that's out to get the world would put people into a mass panic. So the fact that he made people panic for like a split second and then brought them back down and calmed them down by saying, look, I'm going to bring my people. I'm going to leave Atlas defenseless to help you guys. I'm going to bring you up to Atlas so you can be safe. Now, to me, that shows great character development from Ironwood. It shows a bit of development from Robin because she's actually trusting him after all that he's done and not said. As well as the fact is, it also shows that the public of Mantle are actually smart and they're not just mindless. So, yeah, pretty decent scene. Moving on, we've got a great team up. We see this team form right here. We got Penny, we got RWBY, and we've got, I can't remember her name. Is it Kylie? Anyway, I'm going to refer to her as a speedster because that's pretty much what she's based off of. And this fight against a big giant mammoth was actually pretty decent for the most part. But there is one important thing to take away from it. And that important thing is Silver Eyes failed RWBY. RWBY tried to activate her Silver Eyes at the beginning of this fight. And she couldn't. It didn't work. Is it kind of like a thing where, I'm sorry, but your opponent is way too strong for you to use this ability. You cannot do it. Or is it the fact that she's still scared and still worried? Remember, she's got Penny and she's got her other teammate fighting this thing. Maybe she thinks that it will affect any of those two if she uses Silver Eyes now. Because if we've seen it, Ruby has only used her Silver Eyes on Cinder and the Nevermore at the end of Beacon. She used it against the Empathy, which I'm very upset we didn't see Empathy at the moment. She used it against the Godzilla-like Grim, which, if you think about it, apart from Cinder being affected, there wasn't anybody in front of the Grim when she last used her Silver Eyes. So she had no fear of hurting her friends or hurting anybody else. So is it the fact that people are in range of her vision that it upsets her enough that she can't use her Silver Eyes? Or is there something more? If you have a good idea as to what affected her Silver Eyes and made it not work, let me know down in the comment section below. Another thing to think about though is, the last couple of times she's used them, Maria has been with her. So when she used them freely against the Empathy, and when she used them freely against the Godzilla-like Grim, Leviathan Grim, she had Maria's support and backup. Maria is nowhere to be seen in Mantle. Like, she's disappeared. We haven't seen Maria at all. Neither have we seen Penny's father. So are they kind of like making out somewhere or something? I don't know. Be quite weird. However, if she is required to use the Silver Eyes again, I think Maria is going to have to play a big key role in allowing her to kind of calm herself down so she can use it properly. Remember, she wants to use her Silver Eyes to protect her friends and her loved ones, and if her loved ones and friends are in the way of the Grim she's trying to use them on, maybe she's afraid they'll get caught in the crossfire. Just something to think about. Because we have another team up. And basically everyone teams up in this episode. We get a good showcasing of Team Clover's skills with the big strong lady, the gloopy hand guy, the speedster running, she did pretty well. And, well, we didn't really see much from the wolf dude. But the other team up I want to talk about is this one. Croak? I don't know what you're going to call it. Anyway, it's Crow, Robin, and Clover. And basically, this team looks to be quite formidable. Robin, her semblance isn't based on power, but we can tell that she has some good moves and combat skills. Crow, he's obviously got his semblance for him, which is going to be a bit of a nuisance for his teammates. And he's good with his weapon. He's got good combat skills. Clover, well, Clover's pretty good. He's an elite. He's an ace-up. So we can expect a lot from him. Now, there is one thing that really worries me, though. Oh, and if you're wondering why they team up, it's because they're going after Tyrion. Now, the thing that really worries me, though, is that since Crow and Clover have, met in this volume, they've kept them together. Now, at first I was thinking, were they keeping these two characters together to kind of balance out Crow's semblance to stop the bad luck from happening? And then I was just thinking, what if the reason why they're both together is because it's actually negatively affecting Clover's luck? Now hear me out. When we see the opening, we only see Robin and Crow fighting Tyrion. We don't see any signs of Clover. Now, does that mean Clover gets taken out? Clover could die, and he seems like the sacrificial one out of the three. If there's a scene where Robin's going to die or Crow's going to die, I most likely guarantee it that Clover would be the one to step in and basically take the hit himself, forcing himself to come out of the fight due to poison. Thus leaving Crow and Robin, thus giving us that intro scene. Now I know the intros to animes don't always add up and do what they do. Maybe this is a last minute decision that they added Clover in and they just couldn't bother to change the opening. Who knows? I just fear a little bit for Clover's character, although not too much because I'm not really that bothered by it. just simple truth of the matter, really. So next, let's talk about this bit. Cinder and Neo. Not really a lot to go by, but you can speculate a little bit on something. So, it's obvious that they're angry at Watson Tyrion being there first for whatever reason. You know, they wanted to do their thing. And the plan now is basically for Neo to get the relic off Oscar. And when she transforms into Ruby, I thought that was pretty cool. But the thing is, Neo obviously that's her way of saying, I want to go after Ruby, not Oscar. And Cinder's just like, no, we're not doing that. We're going after the maidens and the relics. Then we go after what we both want later. So it probably seems like maybe there's going to be a breakup between these two. However, one thing that I thought of that would be very interesting. So, if we remember, when we looked at the room that the Winter Maiden was in, we saw those pods in the background. The same pods that Osbin tried to use to transfer the Full Maiden's powers to Pyrrha. And with Cinder wanting the Winter Maiden's powers, is there going to be an opportunity where Cinder gets the Winter Maiden's powers by using those tubes? Or, now this could happen as well as, will we see a Neo versus Winter fight? Because we haven't seen what Winter is doing yet. Maybe she's been told to guard the Winter Maiden, just in case anything happens. Thus, obviously giving us the fight between two very good characters and two very highly skilled characters, both skilled in long-range combat. Because yes, I would say Winter is a long-range combatant, much like Cinder is, although Cinder would be more of a long-range than, vice versa. So, that would be quite an interesting clash if we get to see that. And it could be after Winter has the Winter Maiden's powers, or it could be before, whichever way actually works. And, going off it again, you could get a Neo versus Oscar fight. I don't think... No. Actually, let's talk about it real quick. Could it be that Oscar actually gets a semblance to where he can see through disguises? Now, that'd be very, very situational. But he could see the fact that it's actually Neo and pick up on signs and details showcasing that it's not who she disguised herself as. Maybe that's what happens and we get a Neo versus Oscar fight. Neo would obviously absolutely destroy Oscar. But, I'd like to think Oscar can handle his own a little bit. Maybe Osbin comes back and takes over for like a little bit and does his combat stuff. Who knows? Anyway, if you want to hear more about my thoughts on Oscar's semblance, check out my theory video. I'll link it in the description down below. Or it's just on the channel in general. So then we get to the climactic part, the final bit of the episode, and I really did like it. A fight that I didn't actually think would happen, but it's actually happening, and I'm excited for it. A boss battle between Ironwood and Watts. Both characters absolutely despise each other. Ironwood doesn't like Watts because he's basically humiliated Ironwood and hacked into his system so many times and caused a lot of problems for him. And Watts obviously has animosity towards Ironwood because he didn't choose his project in the past. And when I saw the whole Amity Tower situation and the fact that Watts was hacking into it and basically made things move and shift in different directions, I was like, I feel like I'm watching a Final Fantasy cutscene. I feel like this is going to be a big boss fight from like one of those RPG games, JRPG games that I love playing so much. The music made me hyped, and I can't wait to see next week's episode and see how they handle this battle. Hopefully they do it justice. Two characters I didn't consider fighting each other, and Watts I never would have thought would actually be in a fight to begin with. So I'll be intrigued to see what he does. It turns out it's going to be probably like a Texas shoot down, like a pew 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 pew, and then, over. However, I can see it being a bit difficult for Ironwood, even though you would think he has the tactical advantage. He may have the tactical advantage, but Watts probably has the field advantage. So we have to see how this situation plays out. And the whole using the trap and bait to kind of lure what's out, I thought was pretty fun too. You know, saying that Amity Tower is complete and leaving the forces and leaving that place unguarded. I think Watts probably should have been smarter and thought about it being a trap. But hey, that's just plot development and plot convenience, I suppose. So all in all, this episode was actually really fun, and I did have a lot of fun watching it. The only thing I disliked about the episode really was, I'm gonna have to admit, the Blake interaction and Yang interaction at the beginning. I didn't like that too much. I thought they could have used time better than that. But I guess it's to show like how bad the situation is, so I won't criticize that too much. The length of the episode, obviously being 15 minutes, when you take out the intro and you take out the outro, is about a 13 to 12 minute episode, which, really, come on, it shouldn't be that short. Especially when people are paying to watch this. Now, last note, the comedy. Comedy was pretty good. There wasn't a lot of it because it was quite a serious sort of clash. Weiss, for me, has been a character that's now been downgraded to a comedic character, especially in the last 2 episodes, with a, can I do that? With arresting her father, and her, oopsie, sorry, didn't mean to almost hit you. But it shows that she actually has improved her powers, because look at the size of that Guardian. And Jean, I don't like talking about Jean because he's got a silly haircut, and, you know, he doesn't interest me that much, but I like the fact they use his character quite quite entertainingly, by saying, okay, single file, come on kids, show them how it's done, put your hands on their shoulders, and walk in a straight line. Obviously referencing his huntsman job as morning routine. I actually thought that put a smile on my face, so I'll let him have that point. So then, that about does it for this review. If you haven't seen the episode yet, I'd highly recommend for you to go watch it. It is actually a really fun episode, even if it's quite short. But that being said, I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. I do more anime content and RWBY related content as well. Other than that, I hope you'll have an amazing day, and I'll be catching you next time. Bye.